So I'm making a wooden club on camera. This is a new series on the channel, and if you've already caught up with the other episodes so far, you'll see that we are getting there with making this club, but we've still got a few more episodes to go. So what you're going to learn from this, I'm going to talk to you whilst I'm doing the work. I'm going to be chopping away more wood, and I'm going to talk about some of the advantages of making your own items, when it comes to buying them in. Now, as you can see, today I'm pretty much well dressed as a Norse warrior because I'm wearing mail, and I've also got two swords, and one of them is a bit short. But here we have the wooden club I am making at the moment, and it's still way too heavy to be used as a club. So we're going to get the axe, and actually the first thing I'm going to do is grab Egil's old axe, and I'm just going to knock this end back on. You know that's a good sign when you get that ringing noise. And I have very recently sharpened this, so it should do a good job when it comes to chopping down and taking more of this diameter, until we get to the point where I can put it on my wood horse and start taking it down even more. And I think at some point in the future we'll make another club, but it'll be more centralised rather than having an offset head. But that's for another video. Because you have to be careful when you're doing this, because I quite like my fingers the way they are, and it is slightly difficult to talk and to film at the same time, but I think so far we've done a good job. So I can tell by this side of it, it's a bit bowed out, so I need this side to be a bit straighter, so we'll work on that a bit. That was a good chunk, and I keep leaving this out, so it's been a little bit wet as well in the rain. It shouldn't do any damage to it. And hopefully, because I'm filming with the new camera, the old camera, you should see an improvement in the quality of this video. So that's going with the grain, and that's taking quite a chunk off. Look at that. I mean, that's quite a bit off that there. That's what we want, because we've got to get it to the stage where I can hold it in my hand, and we're still quite a way off from that. And again, I've got my legs set to one side. I don't want my leg over here. If I miss and chop into my leg, that could do me a serious injury. So again, I'm offset. I'm making sure that I've got a clear access. I'm not going to hit my artery in my leg or cause any damage. It's been probably about a week since I filmed the last episode. It will definitely work out to be some sort of a club, and we've got a lot of work on the end to work on. We've got to round it off more, and we'll do a bit of that, and we've still got quite a bit of cracking here we need to get rid of. As you can see, there's a good crack down here, and even if we end up with a bit of a crack, I can fill it in with a bit of wood filler or some wax just to hide it to a certain degree. It's a matter of keep looking at it, and you keep evaluating what you're doing, so you can see where you want to take material off and where you want to keep it on. So let's just flick over, and we're going to try to work on this crack here. I must say, because it's a bit of a end where it's got a joint, it's very tough. And I missed a couple of times, and you do miss. It's mostly because this is very tough wood, this is. They're getting to the heart of the cherry, where it's even tougher than the outer wood. It's also important that you don't try to work on the end of your log, because if you are, you're going to miss more. So what you want it to do is stick into the wood rather than bite into the end of the log, because you can see I'm just damaging the log. There's another crack here, look, I've got to deal with. It's just a matter of taking your time and not hurrying the process. I mean, you could cheat, you could use an angle grinder, you could use a chainsaw and so forth, but it's just not going to be the same, is it? And I'm a bit worried about this segment, whether it's a bit rotten, because it's definitely not, you know, the same quality as further down. But we'll have to come to that and deal with it as we deal with it. But we do have quite a bit at the end to take off. This is why I'm trying to work at it and round it off a bit more. We'll just flick it over. And of course, the more you work with an axe, the better you get, and the more accurate you get, and the more you have an understanding about what you're doing. If this was a brand new job to me and I've never done it before, I think you'll see a big difference, because you're also going to be nervous about what you're doing. Yeah, I got the confidence to know what I'm doing and to understand what I'm doing. And again, it's important you don't have your hand down here. Your hand is always as far away from the axe as possible. And you don't go for massive swings, you do controlled swings, so that you're not going to hurt yourself. Because with this axe I could chop my finger off so easily, and I quite like my fingers on my hands. Again, you'll see as I swing, but my leg's not in the way. So if I do miss, I'm not going to hit my leg. We've still got to deal with this crack here. I'm just doing regulated and consistent blows to the same area, so I keep chipping a little bit more away every time, and you can see I'm getting that flat edge because of the controlled way I'm hitting it. So I think we need to take a bit more of this side, but let's just knock the axe back on, because I don't have a wedge in the top of this axe. It's just knocked on. We could do with being a little bit tighter. So probably at some point I'll take it off and I'll saw a wedge in it and put a wedge in, so it pushes it out and make sure it's dead secure on the end. I mean, you can knock it down like that as well, but I prefer to use another axe because it's just designed for that purpose. love the sound that makes. You know that's well made when it rings like that. I don't know if anybody else has done this on YouTube. I'd love to know if you know anybody else who's made a wooden club. It's also about stopping and having a look to evaluate it, to make sure that, you know, the handle's straight. If I need to take more of this side, I've got to take more of that side, and, you know, put it up, have a look this way. So of course there's way more down here to come off yet, so let's do a little bit of work on this further down this body, being careful of my hand. Yeah, we need more of this side, but I'm also cutting into it so that my crack from the wood isn't going to go down and could make a bigger split into my head. And I hope so far that you've seen the first episode. I hope you've enjoyed the episode so far, and that you find this to be quite an interesting series. But I'm just thinking about doing something a bit more different on the channel, and introducing crafting into the channel a bit more, you know, but also building up my confidence to do those videos. So please do leave a comment. That does really help, because create me to have more confidence and to say to myself, yeah, if they think I'm doing a good job in this series, I'll do something else in another series, and we'll progress and make more videos when it comes to crafting medieval items. Because what I'd really love to have is a kind of a setup where I could say, right, you know, this week we're going to make a Anglo-Saxon pattern welded sword. Next week we're going to be doing some finely detailed scabbards. But it all takes time, it all takes money, and that is where I'm aiming to be in the future. If in 5 years from now I'm at the stage where I could make the most splendid museum quality items, and that is where I want to be, because I love making stuff for myself, but I also do love making stuff for other people, as long as they're not on a massive deadline. And I did notice on Todd's workshop website, he states that it takes 11 months to make a sword. So, you know, it's about time. And if I can aspire to even do anywhere near the fraction of the work he does, then I'll be well happy in life. You know, how much would you charge for a handmade club like this? Because if it takes me 10 hours, you know, you've got to charge £12–14 an hour. So you're looking, you know, between £150 and £200 for a handmade club, really. That's a lot of money. but you got to think about the labour time. I mean, the materials cost me nothing, and you know, the axe I've already got, but it's the time to make it. If you're making an item, if you make something and you spend 10 hours making it, but you're selling it for 20 quid, £20, $30, you're making a massive loss on your time. So you've got to understand the value you have and the value of your time. Because if you're making something and you do it as a business, you're there to make a profit at the end of the day, and not to give away something for next to nothing. Keep missing them. Yeah, so I think we made more progress. This is where you've got to be very careful. Little hits, as you can see I'm doing. I'm not doing big ones, little tiny ones. So that's more progress. We've still got to work on this end here. We've still got a bit of the original flat edge from where I chainsawed it many years back. We've still got some more cracking, so it's going to take more time, but we're going to get there. And eventually we'll end up with something very nice and usable. What do you think? And of course today is the 9th of June, so it's Egil Thorsson's day. So may the memory of Egil Thorsson carry on. And thank you guys for watching this video. Do please leave me a like. Please do leave a comment. Until we meet again, it's goodbye from me. Yes, do subscribe.